Yeah, we got something to talk about today. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another podcast from Beyond Clinton Cliff. Glad to have you all back here this week. We talked about mowing grass last week. Today, we're going to talk a little bit something more, maybe a little sentimental, but I got stories. And the crazy thing is, yesterday was Mother's Day. My mother, bless her heart's been gone for a while now. I miss her. So if you still got your mother around, make sure you tell her you love her and spend as much time as you can with her. 'Cause you don't get another one. But this is just a podcast for some of you to listen to while you're working, doing whatever you're doing, and some have me on in the background to make you smile, laugh, or give me a lot of grief about. So make sure y'all hit that subscribe button and like and share it. But there's something for easy listening to. Now, I want to tell you some stories about me and my mother's relationship. We were two peas in a pod. We could not be in the same room together or we'd start bickering at each other. Now, listen, I was raised to respect my mother and daddy, so I did respect her, but sometimes we just didn't see eye to eye on some stuff. And, of course, my dad had to come intervene a few times. But all in all, I loved that woman. She would go on to the end of the earth for me. So she loved me and I loved her. But I'm going to tell you some stories that are crazy. My mom, bless her heart, I know I've told you about the story about me getting lost in the woods riding a bike and ended up at a police officer's house. Luck to be the lady. And then we went and, we found her, cop pulled her over, asking her millions of questions and embarrassed her. Made her feel like she wasn't a good mother, which she was. But, my mom always made sure I got the stuff. My dad brought in the money, mom spent it, and she bought me a bunch of stuff I probably shouldn't deserve, toys or whatever as growing up. Me and mom did have some scandals against my dad. My dad was a simple man. He didn't believe in spending money like it's going out of style. I mean, he worked hard for it. He wanted to pay the bills and make sure we had a roof over our head. That was his number one priority and goal. And he did a good job at that. Don't get me wrong. But mom, she wanted something, she'd figure out a way to get it. I remember one year the technology era, I call it. We had a TV in the living room. It's the old-fashioned cabinet TV, I think is what they call it, where it looks like it was in a cabinet. It's old. You had to go up there. I was the remote. I had to go up there and change the channels. There was no remote because I was the remote growing up. Hey, go change that channel. I had to get up and go change that channel for them. But, that's what we had for the longest time. And then this new invention comes out called the flat screen TV. And it was around Christmas time. It was when they were doing those sales, whatever. I think it was before the Black Friday things. But the flat screen TV came out. And my mom wanted one. Because you guys, growing up, we did enjoy a movie night growing up. We'd always go, back then we had Blockbusters and, you go rent a movie. And we did that almost every other Friday night. We'd go rent a movie, get some popcorn, sit down and watch a movie at night. Good times. I remember those memories perfectly. But mom wanted this new flat screen TV, and I don't know, man. Next thing I know, mom's got one bringing in the house, and this thing was huge. And my dad was at work. He comes home from work and he goes, "What is this?" Mom said, "Well, we need a new TV." And Dad goes, "What was wrong with the old one?" And they got in an argument over it. It was, I mean, ultimately my mom won because she kept the TV, even though he was burling over it for a couple of days, but he finally got used to it and watched it with us anyway. My mom, you know, she was a good woman. She was a good mother. She kept me out of trouble, tried to. Now, I don't know if I ever told you this story before, but when I was in high school, I never really was a partier. I went out with my friends and we had some liquor, at night, But I never went to like a house party, where we were at somebody's house and stuff. And I was 18. It was my senior year in high school, and I got invited. And I said, heck yeah, I'll come with one of my friends. And called mom and said, hey, I'm going to spend the night over at my friend's house tonight. And she kind of, what do you mean, why? Because I want to. Why not? It's Friday night. I'll be home in the morning. And she was reluctant. She just said, okay. So I'm like, yes. So, I told her where I was at. I didn't lie to her about that. I didn't lie to her at once. And I told her, I will be at, my friend's house. And she knew where he lived and all that. So, I didn't think anything of it. Started getting into the night. Started drinking. Got a little inebriated or drunk, you might want to say, or intoxicated. I was in the bedroom. We were playing some kind of game in my friend's bedroom, and next thing one of my friends comes. I mean, there was like 20 people there. There was 20 people there. My friend comes in, Clifford. I go, what? Your mom's here. I'm like, what? Why is she here? Boy, I walked out there. My mom goes, you going home now. Like, what? Man, it was so embarrassing. My mom coming and pulled me out of that party. Went home. My dad sitting there on the table just shaking his head. I just told Dad, I said, dude, we weren't going nowhere. We were staying at the house. We weren't driving. Matter of fact, the people there, we had to lock up our keys to our truck into a lockbox, and we couldn't get our keys, so we were there. We weren't going to go nowhere. Dad goes, yeah, but you're still underage, and we, how we feel about alcohol around here. And man, I got in trouble. I did the walk of shame the next day to go get my truck. I go, I have my keys, and they go, are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just in trouble. So that was an embarrassing moment of my life. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And then, further down the road, my mom, she's a sweetheart. She really did care about me. She wanted me to do the best I can and do the best for me. She made sure I got stuff I needed. Like I said, she bought stuff that my dad probably wouldn't have bought me. So, Mom always, looked out after me, and that's always what I liked. I took that for granted, I think. Don't take that for granted because that's not going to be around forever. But what was it? There's one time where we were going out doing Halloween. Back in the day where you actually went to people's houses, strangers' houses, and knocked on the door and said trick or treat. There was none of this trunk or treat or, everybody at one place. You walked the streets. You went to people's houses with the light that had their outdoor lights on, and Mom would always go through all my candy because I guess back then that's when stupid stuff started happening. People playing with candy and trying to hurt the kids. So Mom went through all my candy. She did whatever it took to protect me. She was big on family. Blood was thicker than water with her. Something happened to one of her, us family. She wanted to take care of it. You wouldn't like what the wrath that that woman had. You mess with one of hers, you're not you might get a second chance. I don't know, but thank goodness nothing bad happened. But Mom was that type, man. She was all for family. If you blood, you were protected. But she had a soft side too. She cared about a lot of people. She took a lot of people in. Um, she I know when my wife's twin sister, she passed away in a car wreck, and my brother-in-law and there's 4 kids, just losing it. Mom opened up her home for them. They came, they moved in, and it so happened this is the same time, like in '03, when we had a tornado hit our house, and of course, Mom, me and my wife and my daughter had to live there too. So this was a 4-bedroom house housing 9 people. Okay, it was a tight knit place. It was a fiasco. But Mom made sure everybody was taken care of. We made do. Everybody, finally moved out and got their own place after a while. But she took people in. She didn't care who you were. Just because she cared. She was a woman that cares. And, I couldn't ask that back for a good mother. My mom, she would drive, for any of her family, drive across the land to help them out. She was pretty blunt about stuff. I mean, she didn't hold back. She let you know what she thought. But great mom. I remember when I was she was pretty cool. I enjoyed her. Now, not everything was, like I said, was peasy queasy, whatever that saying is. It wasn't always peachy. There was some troubled times in my parents, money and stuff. Dad got laid off one year. I remember him working 2 jobs. It was just me and Mom all day and all night. Got my license. First day I got my license, I asked Mom, can I go rent a movie? She looked at me. She goes, yeah, just hurry back. Be careful. Got in their car. First time by myself. Oh, my land. That was fun. But I came home. My mom was nervous. She was nervous. She was happy to see me when I got back, and, when growing up, she, always left a lot, when I was outside all day. I had to come in when supper's done, and you'll hear her holler, Clifford, supper's ready. And I had to walk back to the house, sit down and eat. And I was done for the day. I'd stay inside, had to do whatever I had to get done, chores wise, and shower and all that good jazz, and go to bed. But just the little things, Mom made sure supper was ready. She ate lunch, breakfast, every day. It took her for granted. But any of y'all out there that's a mother, late Mother's Day. Of course. I mean, this is Wednesday by the time this comes out, so I'm a few days late, but I do apologize. But yeah, it's just fun stuff growing up. I remember Mom was always the first person there. If there was a function, church, or people gathering, she was the first one there. If they told her to be there at 7, she was there at 6:50. So, I mean, she made sure she was there. She said she was going to be somewhere, that's where she was going to be. And so that happens all the time. But she's, a bunch of good memories. Probably a lot more memories than I can say in here in this podcast. But my mom always tried to, school. She was real strict on me in school. She always had her thumb on my head about school, making sure I was getting my schoolwork done and making a passing grade. They weren't too concerned about me making straight A's. They didn't really care about that. They cared more that I went to school and I was trying, and I knew what I was trying when I wasn't, because I never made an F, I never made a D. I was a B and a C student. That's the only time I made an A was in agriculture and PE. It was the only time I made an A. But the other, was B's and C's. And math, I did good in math. I had an A's in math. I was good at it. I liked it. I don't know, it was just a puzzle or something, and it made me feel that it was a puzzle, and I did. But, social studies, English, like, I care. I mean, that's how it was in high school. It's like, well, as long as I passed, I didn't care. And then, so they weren't really strict on me on that, but she made sure that I went to school every day and did my work every day. So, kudos to her. Guys, this is going to be it today. Hope you enjoyed this little podcast about my mom. Memories of my mom. And there were so many of them, I couldn't, there would be no way I could put this in a video form. But I want you to know, if you're a mother out there, you're appreciated, even though you don't feel like it. Later in life, like me, I took my mom for granted, like she was going to be there every day. And then one day, she wasn't, and my world turned upside down. And it's like, that's why I preach to all my friends, everybody, that, yeah, your mom could be annoying or get on your nerves, ask you the same question, or try to tell you how to raise your kids, or whatever the case may be. Don't take her for granted, because one day you're going to miss that from her. You're going to miss her trying to help you. That's all she's trying to do, is help you succeed. Most mothers. I understand there's situations out there where that's out of you guys' control, out of my control. But I know my relationship with my mom, and if you have a good relationship with your mother, you understand what I'm saying. I mean, you will miss this in time. And you'll be wishing that you had them moments back where you didn't get aggravated. You just took your time and listened to her. But anyway, that's enough of that. Hope you all enjoyed it. Guys, like I said every time, be somebody's light in somebody's darkest cloud, or somebody could be having a bad day. A hello from you could make their day better. Be the light. Get your attitude up. Make them want to come to you and hang out with you. Not every day's my dad and mom also said some days are diamonds, some days are coal. When you have them days that are coal, you got to find the diamond in there. So you got to crush that coal to find that diamond. So there you go. Guys, have a good one. Do unto others that you want done to yourself. And until the next time. Bye-bye.